Okay, guys, I'm back in the gym. We ready to get it on. Today's going to be a shoulder recovery workout. So I'm going to cut this short and just say, let's get to it. Okay, guys. Whew. So that is one of my favorite lifts. Kind of jacked up a little bit, but that's okay. Now that I'm done with that, I can actually turn it around. But that's one of my favorite lifts is the log press. I really love that a lot. So not too bad. For post-surgery, getting back into the game, that was the highest weight on there. The singles were 115. So that's not too bad. Not bad for recovery. Back behind me, right there, that beautiful thing is the yoke. You can do a couple different things. You can do a Zercher carry, where you put your arms under the bar and lift it up. You can do a yoke carry where it goes on your back like a squat rack, like if you're squatting, but you pick it up and then you run with it. And then you can also do yoke overhead presses where you basically get the bar, you load it up, and you do reps. I want to say without any weights on that, I think if I remember, the equipment alone is about 170, 175 pounds, somewhere in there. I always err on the side of caution, and whenever I'm programming my workout with it, I just do 170, because if it's $5 more than, or $5 pounds more than, no, that's just to my benefit. So, all right, that beautiful log press is done. Time to move on. Good. Okay. All right, guys. So that was my version of lateral raises. I probably do them a little bit different than some people. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But let me kind of break it down. Um, I like, some people will have their arms straight out. I prefer a little bend. It's easier on my joints because, I am 54 years old. But I like to have a little bit of bend. And then I also will keep the dumbbell vertical instead of horizontal. Um, you can do it either way. For my old man wrists uh, and for my shoulder also, going vertical is just a lot easier on my body. So that's really why I do that. I in the first clip I showed you what it looked like from the front angle, and then the second clip I showed you from the side angle. The reason why I did that is because I don't go straight, I guess, perpendicular up and down. I go more of like an angle. I don't know, maybe what, 70, 80 degree angle, something like that. And then when I get up here, like, what I do is I get there and I pinch the top of my shoulder blades together, and it gives me a really good stretch at the end, and I am good to go. So all right, on to the next one. All right, guys. So that is a plate front raise. You can do that with a kettlebell, dumbbells. I like using the plate because sometimes what I'll do is um, I'll do a double movement to where I'll be down, I'll raise it up, and then I'll do like 5 bus drivers on each side. Um, if you don't know what that is, all it is I would raise the plate and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 on each side, so a total of 10 twists, and that's called a bus driver. So that's really good. That hits like right back in here, a little bit further up that my arm can't reach. But sometimes I'll do that and go from there. But yeah, that's the front raises. Really not a whole lot to explain with that. Super simple, super easy, but very effective. Another thing you can do that I'll sometimes do, I'll get to the edge of a bench and I'll get 2 dumbbells. I'm gonna put the mic. I'm gonna put it right here for it now. So what I'll do is I'll be sitting on the front end of the bench, and now it looks kind of silly, especially if someone sees you from the wrong angle. But I'll get the 2 dumbbells. I'll spread my legs out, and I'll put the dumbbells together, start down here, and then keeping the pressure of the dumbbells together, I'll raise up like this. And based off of what you're seeing right now, you can see where that's a little provocative, but also highly effective. basically the rear delt fly. It's you can do it a couple ways. You can do a bend over like that. You can get on an inclined bench to have more stability and do the same thing. You can do it with a cable machine. You can do that with bands. And there's a lot of adaptation that you can do with that kind of lift. Pretty much in anything that I do, I don't do it all the time, but a lot of times I like to do that real quick for that fast twitch muscle to really explode out of the gate and then recover at a much, like, I don't know, 3-5 second pace down to the start position. I don't do it all the time. And sometimes, like if I'm doing, let's say 10 reps, I'll do it for 5, and then I'll do just normal speed for the other 5. I mean, it just varies, but it's good to kind of change it up a little bit sometimes. Also, I gave you the side view on that one in that second clip. And again, that's just for you to see what that looks like. I'm sure if I I haven't even seen the video yet, but I imagine my back was a little rounded. You want to try to not do that. You want to try to kind of be at that almost 45-degree angle with your back straight and your head's looking up to give you that good alignment. Well, got just a few more lifts, and then I can call it a day. But in the meantime, I'm gonna get myself a nice drink of LMNT, because this is what will get you through a hard workout. Get you some LMNT. I'll put a link down the bottom, and you can get you a little bit of a discount. If you buy a box, you get a free sample box for free with all the flavors, or most of the flavors. So, all right, guys, on to the next one. All right. Whew, sorry, guys. Long pause there. Moment of silence. So those are shoulder shrugs. I originally did not have them in my plan today, but I wanted to go ahead and include those. I really like doing those. I went ahead and gave you 3 different angles. I don't know how well the back one's going to be. I mean, technically, I guess if I didn't have a shirt on, you might be able to see that muscle movement. I don't know. But did anyway. So you got 12 reps of my butt. So pretty much the big thing with that is whenever I get up there and I'm squeezing those shrugs together. I try to hold it, pause it for 2 or 3 seconds before coming down. It's just something I've always done. It seems like it's always been beneficial. So that's what I do. Um, all right. I really don't know what else to say about that one because it's over. Um, uh, I've got one more thing that I want to do in video. Um, probably, usually Sundays, which are tomorrow. Well, you know what? Don't listen to me right now. I'm gonna end this. Go knock down some lat pull downs, and then I'll come back and give you a final closing. Got a couple things to share, um, and then that'll be it. So, all right, let's get on to the next one. All right, guys. Woo! Look how sweaty my short hair is. Heck, you can look on my face. See exertion. You can see the amount of ferocity, if you will, that I put into today's workout. You know what? Still not quite up to my heavier lift status yet, but I've got about 19 days, guys. 19 days, and then I've got the next stage of my recovery workout is a getting back to heavier weights, but it's still post-surgery strongman recovery. I think I'll wind up going up. I think a lot of the lifts starting off. It's been a minute since it was put together, but I think that at least that first week, I'm trying to recall. You know, sometimes you close your eyes and you picture it, and then you can kind of recall that it comes back to from the back to the front of the brain. But I think the first week I go to, it's either 55 or 65% of my 1 rep max is what I'll start off with that first week. And to be honest with you, today's workout with the log was pretty much there at the 55-60% range, because I think my 1 rep max on a log lift right now is only, I think, 220 pounds. I've been able to pull 225 up to the rack position, but I have yet to get it over my head. I have been able to do it with 220, but not with 225. And today I did, for the 1 reps, the 3 1 reps that I did, I want to say, I mean, I don't have to want to say it. It is what it is because it's written down. It was 115. So 115 times 2 would be 230. So yeah, I did about 55% of what my 1 rep max is already, and it felt good. It felt really good. I'm really excited. I had no issues with where my hernia surgery was. There was no pains, no discomfort. The only thing that was a little uncomfortable was my belt's still a little bit tight because I gained from my surgery to where I'm at now. I gained 25 pounds, which sucks. But uh, other than my belt being a little tight on me, which is okay for a short period of time. But it was kind of uncomfortable, but not too bad. I was able to do the movements and the lifts, but yeah, it went surprisingly well. I'm so pumped up. I cannot wait to start increasing that up the ladder. Um, but baby, I'm back. I am back. Um, see here. What I was going to tell you a minute ago. Um, like I said, since the last video I talked about, I think gaining the weight, whether it's actual, I got my ass fat again, or partially maybe some bloating from the surgery, or a combination of the two. Regardless, I went from 250, 255 to 275, so about uh 20, 25 pound increase. Tomorrow is a weigh-in day for me. I'm gonna do that on Sundays, and I will see where I'm at. It's I've been basically trying to do better about my eating pattern, my eating habits, which I typically suck at. Still not doing very well on sleeping, but I'm trying to eat a little bit less, do a little bit better, and totally cut Cokes out. So we'll see what the scale says. I'm kind of curious. It's always, for me, it's always important to start my day off that way, before I get moving, before I put anything in my belly. Is if I'm doing my weigh in, it's going to be on the same scale at the same time. I've always heard that that's the trick, because all scales are, I guess, uh, weighted different or something. There might be some variations in what they are. Probably not a whole lot to matter, but still, regardless, it is what it is. But what I wanted to tell you is that because of getting up to 275, and I have never been good with food. I mean, I do my best, but I'll do good for like 5 or 7 days, and then I fall off the wagon, and I'm eating crap. I'm not tracking my food, which I know whenever I track my food and I'm accountable to that, and if I'm accountable to somebody, I do much better, because it drives me to want to make sure, okay, I'm working with this individual or with this group, like I did back in the day when I did the first form transformation challenge. Uh, I'm doing this for somebody. I want to do good, and it pushes me. It drives me, just like competition drives me to train for strongman. Having that also drives me to do better with my food. And so I was looking around, and one of the things that I found is my insurance has a wellness program, and I was able to get a free scale that I put the app on my phone, and whenever I get on the scale, it automatically goes to my phone, so I can track it better, and whatnot. Um, and then, uh, uh, sorry, a little lost in thought, tired. Then, um, I can just do better. But it really, I mean, gives you food ideas and stuff like that, but it really doesn't give you that extra. And I needed that. And so one of the things it talked about was finding a dietitian. And a lot of times, my insurance will help pay for that. So they gave a listing of different types of dietitians and stuff like that. And I found one. It's they have an app. It's a really cool group. It's called Nourish, Nourish. And so I put in my information and whatnot, and it, according to their website, they did confirm that it took my insurance. And I went through this process. I got linked up. What's cool is once you fill out the information, it'll say, okay, based off of your information and what you want to do and where you're at, here are the 3 or 4 dietitians we recommend. And they could be next door, they could be in another country possibly, but they're everywhere, because all the stuff that you do with them is online mostly. And so I got my results back. I think it showed 3 or 4 different potential dietitians. There was one that I liked his bio, because it kind of met with me being a strongman competitor and training and all that kind of stuff. This person was real big into fitness, and because I want to make sure, number one, I'm eating better, but also I need to know how to tweak it whenever I'm training for competition, because that's different. If you're like in an off season and you're kind of being just status quo, your diet is going to be different than whenever you're competing. You're putting in those extra training sessions, and you're burning a lot more calories, and you've got to fuel your body. And uh, it's kind of funny because I've always believed this too, but even the dietitian told me that really, at the end of the day, on paper, it's getting kind of hot in here. On paper, weight loss is easy. You hear me, people? It's easy. What it breaks down to is calories out, calories in. That's it. How much do you intake versus how much you outtake? And if you're not competing, your outtake is going to be a lot different. If you're going to the gym a lot and you're competing and doing X, Y, and Z, your output's going to be different. So the amount you burn, you need to make sure that you're always in a caloric deficit, and that will burn fat, regardless of your situation. Now, there are some people who have special circumstances. Maybe they have a hormonal imbalance or something like that, or there's some physical thing, medical reason why that process doesn't work. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what those are. Look them up. Get yourself a dietitian. Go see some sort of a weight loss facility that has doctors and nurses, and they can go from there. But anyway, so I got hooked up with. I'm not going to tell you his name, but it's kind of funny though. He wound up being about a 40-minute drive from my house is where he lives. So he's relatively close. It's not on in another state or another country. He's just right down the road from me, which was kind of funny. But it's pretty cool. Had my first meeting with him. Took about an hour. Basically, kind of a get to know you meeting. At the end of that, I was given my amount of calories that I needed to consume in a day, which for me, I was actually overeating based off of what I was doing. Like you can go do this kind of crap on just, MyFitnessPal, a whole bunch of other apps. And with all the information I put in there, it told me like my caloric intake to lose 1 pound a week. It said my caloric intake was like 3,200 and some change. And after having this meeting with my dietitian, uh, he lowered that to 2,800. So that's 400 calories that I'm not getting between having a professional who knows my situation um, to be able to look at that and say, okay, here we go. Now, the cool thing uh, is that as we move forward and based off of what we do and how we do it, those may go up whenever I get closer to uh, get out of my recovery from the hernia and get more focused on my actual competition training. That caloric intake might go up. We're going to take it on a day in, day out basis. Um, but he did that. I think my macros, I want to say my protein was like right around 225. My fat was like 97 grams of fat, and good carbs, not shitty carbs, good carbs, uh, 240 something, maybe somewhere right around there. So he's having me do a real high protein, high carb, because the carbs that's where you get your energy. And so you do need some good carbs. Not Doritos. I don't think that's a good carb. What I do like about my dietitian is the fact that he doesn't want to take anything away from me. If I want to go get a Coke, which I'm trying to kind of stay off on for a little while as my weight goes down, but just say I want it. So whatever, I love root beer. That's my favorite. If I decided I'm going to go and get myself a nice cold root beer, there's nothing that says I can't do that. He's not going to limit that from me. Just what he wants to do is limit the amount of times I go get a nice cold root beer. If I want to get a chocolate chip cookie, that's okay. Get one. Don't eat 50. Things like that. So, what this summary after the workout. Going quite. I can't believe I'm ranting and raving for like almost 13 minutes. But anyway, just to sum it all up, I've got a great dietitian. He's got me on a great plan. He's given me some challenges to do, and then I'll meet with him again in about a week, more or less. But you know, I think I finally have needed that. Number one, to get a better idea of what I'm putting in my body, especially for training, and I want to be able. My goal is to go from 275, and I'd like to get down to about 225. Because as a strongman competitor, you still got to have a little mass. You always hear in strongman, mass moves mass. So for me to still do the job I want to do, I've got to have a little bit of substance. It's called a power belly for a reason, folks. But then also too, I'm doing this for my family. Number one, I want to be a healthy husband and father, but number two, I want to be an example. And then number three, by me, especially since I'm the cook of the family, by me eating better, it's going to force my family to eat better. Now I can't control if they decide to get in the car and drive over to Chick-fil-A or Sonic or somewhere like that and get themselves something. I can't control that. If they do that, they do that. But as far as what I cook at home, they're going to be subject. They're going to be subject to what I cook. So it is going to benefit them in the long run as well. So I'm going to wrap this up. You guys be well, be strong, get your fit on.